break open that turtle. That's pretty amazing.
Where did you get Wally?
I'd have my property out there outside of Savannah, on the other side, actually South Carolina.
On the island?
On the rice plantation, it was called. And that's what it really was. It still had a king's grant to the paperwork.
What?
It had a king's grant.
A king's grant
Yes.
from the King of England?
For owning the property at one time.
No.
And it went.
way.
Listen, it went all the way from Maryland to Brunswick. This rice plantation, it was called. The Rice Plantation is how it was called. Colonel Rice actually owned a rice plantation.
Huh.
But it was deeded from Maryland all the way to Brunswick, all along the coast. Huge amount of piece of land.
Wow.
That's how far back that title went. We were just sitting here chit-chatting about nothing in general.
Talking about the turtles eating the fish.
Yeah, so then Wally over 15.
Wally, yes, Wally.
Wally the gator. Yeah, he got over 15 years of age on him. He was like almost 10 foot long. He was pretty big. I mean, he was as broad as you are. You got to be a big little gator out there in the pond. And he became a threat because I had little kids around. So, and then we got over the little kids stuff. Everybody figured out how to stay away from Wally. But Wally would lay on the grass right there in front of the house. He'd come up and dig around on the grass and lay in the sun. And I'd go out with the broom and I'd say, Wally, get back in the pond, go. And he couldn't spin to the left fast, but to the right he could snip real quick. So he had some sort of injury to the left. I don't know, maybe deformity or something. But to the right, that son of a bitch could twist all the way around half his length of his body. To the left, it was more restricted. He couldn't spin on you so hard. So I'd just always go to the left of him and beat him with the broom and get him to go. And, because he couldn't snap at me. He'd just, and he'd run away. So, and then the whole time I had him, I had a dock, and he'd come swimming up the dock and shit. I'd dive from me to you from him right in the water next to him. Everybody goes, you're fucking nuts. I said, it's my pet gator. It's Wally. He ain't gonna bite me. Wally could have bit me at any time he wanted to, and they do bite you even under the water. So it's that's an old fable where a gator only bites you on top of the water. Oh, no. No, they'll bite you under the water too. So I'm just saying. So when I found that out, and then I sold the place, and people told me I had to eradicate the gator, so I didn't want to kill Wally because, he's pretty cool. So I made a lasso, and I got him lassoed, hooked him onto the bumper with a piece of cable, and drove him down the dirt road about 6 miles to another pond. And I said, well, here's your new home. I released him, and off he went. Well, a week later, here's Wally back in the pond behind my house. I said, what the fuck? So I went to look, and I walked around my property, and here was Wally tracks all the way through my pine forest, all the way through the woods. He'd walked all the way back about 6 miles from that other pond back to his pond. So how did they do that? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. He didn't walk the roadway back. He came through the woods. So, and I had a guy that I leased out a turkey stand. So he had this little blind built there in the rows of pine trees, and he hunted turkeys there. And Wally had walked right by his blind. I was laughing, going, boy, that'd be funny if he'd been in there turkey hunting and seen a 10-foot gator walking up through the pine forest, because you wouldn't expect to see one over here. I mean, you just wouldn't. Not out in the bare woods, not anywhere near water. You wouldn't think of finding an alligator walking through a pine forest.
That's true.
Yeah, very true. So that would have fricked a lot of people out right there. So then I called the game warden. He showed up with like a 6-foot catch a live trap. And he looked at Wally and goes, well, shit, that ain't going to work. I'm just going to have to shoot him or get the boy down here to shoot him. I said, I don't want to shoot Wally, man. I said, can't we do something? He goes, he's just too big, he goes. I said, all right. So they put Wally down and took him out of the pond. And
should have made a wallet out of him.
I actually kept a piece of Wally. I hung on my Wally. It was a joke. Yeah, that's Wally, hanging on the Wally. I just had a little piece of it.
Yeah, it would have been nice to he would have made a nice coat.
He actually went for processing somewhere as they took him to help feed hungry people. Taking in gators to help.
Gator stew.
Fuck, I guess. Why not? It was good. A lot of meat in the gator.
I've never had gator.
Well,
maybe one day we'll have to
oh, we could drive down to the coast and find a gator right quick, but I wouldn't, we'd have to have the right pole with us, cable on it and things so you could grab them up. I'm just saying, you can't just be shooting them, but see, if you snuck in there and threw one in the back of the truck and brought it home, then you could shoot it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you go hijack a live gator,
Throw him in the
tie
back
it
of the truck.
tie it in the back of the truck
Just
so it
throw
doesn't
him
get
back
away.
Yeah, he'll stay back there. Wally
Bring it home, shoot it home. It's
Yeah.
it's an invader.
Open the tailgate. Yeah, you motherfucker, you're on my property. He was a threat to me there, Mr. Game Warden, so I had to take him down.
He made a nice coat, made a nice
He
stew.
came out of the pond over yonder. Actually, we should just bring one home and put him in the pond over yonder. That would fine.
Take care of the beavers.
Somebody would just shoot it. I mean, all these people around here driving around drunk with their guns, they just shoot everything. That's why I like it out here. People just kind of express their feelings. One day I was down the shop and I heard kaboom! I said, what the fuck was that? I mean, it was real close, right? I went out there and I'm looking, here's the boys in the boat, and they're, kind of like doing stupid shit by the boat, and there's smoke coming up. So I walked over there just in time to see him go up on the bank with the boat. I mean, like 10 feet from the water's edge by the time they stopped it. I said, God damn, man. He goes, yeah, we blew up the beaver house. We took the beaver's house and blew it up. I said, what did you use to blow it up with? He goes, gasoline. He goes, look at my eyebrow. I said, God damn, dumbass. Yeah, I mean, they went out there with a 5-gallon can of gas, poured it all over a beaver house, and then lit it. That's what the big boom was.
Jeez.
This is the same boys that take big plastic bags, trash bags, and go to the acetylene tank and fill up the trash bags with acetylene, tie it off, and then just kind of let it roll across the driveway in the breeze, and then you'll hear that a few times. I mean, he does that a lot. It's funny you haven't heard it. Right
Wow.
up here, you'll hear it. It's a big.
Well, I've heard those.
That's him.
I didn't know what they were. They sounded like an earthquake.
It was acetylene bags full of acetylene with a high power rifle going through it. They're bored. The country kids drunk and bored.
Country kids drunk and bored.
Yeah.